Welcome to A Double
and
Dice
with your hosts Kim
and Jocelyn.
Pour your favorite beverage.
Pull up a comfy chair.
Because we are ready to roll.
Welcome to episode 4 of A Double and Dice. And today we are talking about a whole bunch of things. We're going to talk about a contest that we had announced in our last episode. We're going to talk the rotation that just came out and announced from WizKids. We're going to be talking about more about feedback coming up, and also, I'm forgetting it. No, Jocelyn, what was the fourth thing?
Oh, my tournament update.
All right, your tournament update. Sorry. I just had a blank moment there. So lots on the plate today. So we'll start off with the contest that we had last episode, and it was based on a keyword that Jocelyn had was talking about, which was
Frag. Frag, the coolest keyword that could be, except isn't. So on our last episode, we talked about keywords, and the keyword I talked about was frag, because I think it could be really cool, but it's just so convoluted. So I reached out in the episode and asked our listeners to maybe send some suggestions, and I specifically called out Jackalope Spam, who some of you might know is Nick W. And he accepted our challenge and sent me a team built with frag, which he then proceeded to use in the Weekly Dice Arena last week, the week prior to us recording this episode. So, Kim, do you want to remind our listeners what frag is while I pull up Nick's team?
Sure. Let me pull up what frag is first.
Because this is very organized.
Well, I honestly don't remember off my head what frag actually is. Oh, it's something about, I'll pull it up, but it's wiping your board pretty much, I think it is, right?
So I've got it here. It says,
you're faster than me.
It's on the card in Nick's team. So when character die with frag attacks and KOs one or more blocking character dice with combat damage, deal 1 damage to all opposing character dice that did not block this turn before damage is cleared. So again, frag has a lot of qualifiers and a lot of things that you need to do in order to make it work. But I thought it was something that should be cool. So Nick built this convoluted team. I'm not sure if this is exactly the team he took to the Weekly Dice Arena because I wasn't there. But he built his team around Primaris Intercessor Versatile, which is a 2-cost mask with frag, and it's a 022-132-242. And then he put a whole bunch of new WWE stuff on here. So he put on Shinsuke Nakamura, the King of Strong Style, which is when he's active, if a superstar die is KO'd, its controller loses 1 life. Now, he said this is a double-edged sword because it goes for you as well when he's active, but because you're doing the frag and more damage, it's probably going to be more in your own favor. He threw in a bunch of other stuff. He threw in an Eddie Guerrero I Cheat 2-cost bolt with tag out to help with that combat damage that needs to come out of Primaris Intercessor for the frag to trigger. He brought Kane Controlling Hellfire, a 5-cost mask with a tune, and when he's active, whenever an opposing superstar die is KO'd, deal 1 damage to another opposing superstar die, so that will help again with KOing some of these people. And then he brought Instant War, I guess, to flood the field with easy-to-kill sidekicks. And then the rest of what he brought here is really to support. So, Yellow Lantern Ring. When a character die blocks this turn, reroll it. If it shows an energy phase, KO it. He's got Intellect Devourer, which I imagine is there for the global ability. And he brought Booker T, Ringside Announcer, basic action card, and again for the global, pay a shield target superstar, must block this turn if able, to help, I guess, with the frag ability. So I don't know how it turned out, but it does look like he put all of the things on this team to sort of make it work. He's got a force block, he's got a frag character with decent stats, He's got something that when the dice are KO'd, there's life loss or damage or both, depending on what he gets out there. And then some stuff to help him. He's got Atlas for prep and things like that. So I think it probably would work. I do find that this is probably a very convoluted combo wombo team, which makes me very happy, but also it also shows me that Frag is clearly not the keyword I wanted it to be.
But I did play against him though.
You did? Tell me.
I did play against him in the WDA on Tuesday. Now, my memory is pretty bad. So he had said that he did do it with me. He did do the combo, and he had wiped my board. But the problem is I don't remember that. I remember him KOing some of my characters. So he was able to do it, but I don't remember it being whiteboard unless he did it to another opponent that he had. I just find with the Frag, I mean, trying to do 1 damage across the board, just wipe someone's board is pretty tough if they have a heavy defense.
I wonder if Seething Corruption would work on this team then. Because if you put a Seething Corruption into play, it's an action, right? Until the end of turn, when an opposing character die takes damage, KO it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, although the Frag would happen at the end of turn, you're essentially clearing your opponent's field at the end of their turn, and then they have to roll everything back, right? So, with the dice rolling game, it doesn't always happen. So
I don't know. I'm sure I don't know if he got on stream with WDA that we could check out his game if he got it on the stream, but I honestly can't remember our game. But I know he did it against me, but I don't remember if it was a clear board or not.
That's okay. The important part is that Nick, thank you for listening. Nick, thank you for building a Frag team and taking it to the Weekly Dice Arena and trying to make it work for us, because we appreciate that. I do. I think it's fantastic, and this is a much better Frag team than I would have put together. So thank you for doing that.
And you win. Yay!
You win our what does he win? Our undying gratitude.
Yeah. Yay, clap. There. It's funny. Thanks, Nick, though, but for doing that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We really appreciate it.
Let's jump into rotation.
Are we spinning right now?
I don't know. Did you like that? I don't know.
I like it. I think it's great. I feel like if this was a video podcast, I guess that wouldn't be a podcast, it'd be a video. But I feel like there would be like a weird spinny science fiction effect happening right now.
Oh yeah, like a Doctor Who in the background. But you must see the action I actually did was I had my fingers out and did the when I was doing the rotation. Yeah, so you can't see that stuff, right? But yes, let's talk rotation. What is rotation, right, Jocelyn? I guess everybody's probably wondering what that is if nobody knows what that is.
If you're new to this, game, Dice Masters, rotation is when the company that makes the game announces which sets are going away from competitive modern play. Because when you have a game that is as old as Dice Masters, which, if you can believe it, is almost 6 years old now, there's a lot of sets. And you can't keep everything modern. Sometimes there's power creep. Sometimes you find that old cards are more powerful than what you're playing with now, and that sort of stuff dominates. So they sort of keep the most recent stuff available for regular competitive play. And that also makes it easier for people that are trying to jump into the game. They don't have to find stuff that's 6 years old that may no longer be available.
And they call that golden. When things get rotated out, it becomes the golden age.
Well, golden is everything.
Yeah.
Right? So golden is everything from the very beginning. And then modern age is like, okay, we're going to draw a line in the stand that says, on this day, which this year is May 1st, but on this day, everything prior to these listed sets is no longer available for regular competitive play. There are still some competitive formats if you go to a WizKids event, that they play. They play Global Escalation, which includes cards from the very beginning, although there is a ban list with that particular format. But in general, people tend to focus on Modern because that's what's available. It's what's recent. It's what you can find if you're a new player. And again, the power of those cards tends to be relatively in line. And it's similar to what other competitive games do. So I don't know anything about these games, but if you were playing Magic the Gathering, they have different formats, and they have a current format. I don't know if they call it Modern or not. Do you know?
I have no idea.
Anyway, but they have different formats. Maybe some of our Magic the Gathering listeners can tell us, but they rotate certain things out as well. So they made a big announcement.
Mm-hmm. So anything that's campaign boxes and newer will be the new rotation. So team packs that came out, campaign boxes, that's mostly what the new rotation is. And then obviously they have your organized play cards that you get from kits. Yeah. The newer ones that came out 2019 this year would be Modern Legal.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of people that were thinking this is what the rotation would look like. And some people are talking about how deep the cut is. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I really think it is a deep cut, but only because last year they didn't do a rotation. Right? So in 2019, they didn't rotate anything. They just banned one card, Super Rare Monty Pureblood, Epic Humanoid. So they banned one card and they left everything else in. So Modern, as of the time rotation was announced on March 13th, was like over 1,500 cards.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot of cards. So now they've gone ahead and they've basically cut it in half to a little over 700. So now the Modern format is, in my mind, much more manageable. Mm-hmm. And only includes things that came out in, I guess the oldest thing would be the Harley Quinn.
Did Harley Quinn come first? Or
I feel like
it came out with Justice, didn't it not?
Harley Quinn came out before Justice. Harley Quinn, I think, came out before Avengers Infinity. It came out, and then Avengers Infinity came out with its 2 team packs, and then from there, if I remember right. So essentially, you have Avengers Infinity and its 2 team packs. You have the Harley Quinn team pack. You have the Warhammer 40k stuff. You have the DC Justice and its 2 team packs. The X-Men Forever and its team packs. And then what just came out, which was the WWE and the Trouble in Waterdeep, Adventures in Waterdeep, etc., along with the promo cards from last year.
Yep. So actually the release date on Quinn was August 2018.
And when was Avengers?
But that changed, right? Didn't it change to last year? Was it really 2018?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Justice, you said?
No, Avengers Infinity would have been next.
Oh, okay. Justice, anyways, I was on it, was February 2019. And then Infinity, which just doesn't go in order for some reason.
I think it came out in the end of 2018, if I remember right.
Let's see if she's right. Let's see if she's right, folks. And it's August 2018 as well.
Yeah, so it was around that time. And that was when the good old Throne Brick action card was introduced. And I remember building a team with that. And everyone was using Throne Brick when it first came out because it's such a good action. And I was playing at our local game store in Mississauga, and I had Throne Brick, and my opponent had Throne Brick, and I bought all 6. Or did I have 5 of 6? I might have had 5 of 6 Throne Bricks, and I just destroyed. I think it was Marcus that I was playing, and I think I just destroyed him with Throne Bricks. There was like so many dice in my prep area.
You took Bagburn, did you not?
I might have. I might have. I don't know. I bought a lot of dice that game. So it's entirely possible I didn't. I just remember couldn't believe that I got all of those bricks.
And that's the only team pack that came out with basic actions was Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Yeah, it was special.
Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be a starter kit, but then they changed it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But
yeah, and for those of you that don't know Throne Brick, since we're talking about it, it's deal 1 damage to target character die. If that die is not KO'd, you may add this die to your prep area. Right?
And add a prep. And prep a die from your bag.
And prep a die from your bag. But if you KO a die, then that doesn't happen. So, anyway.
I like the rotation.
Yeah.
I have no issues with it.
I'm very excited by it. I'm very excited about this rotation because I felt like a lot of people were playing the same old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff that had been around for, in some cases, like, you know, like that Wong from the Doctor Strange team pack, I think, which has been around since like 2016. So, like, there's some cards. I mean, they're good cards, don't get me wrong, but they've had their time. They've had their due. Let some new cards play.
So what did they do with Yanti? Because I can't remember. I know did they lift the ban on Yanti?
No.
She's still banned.
Well, she's rotated out.
Right, she'll be rotated out.
So she was banned in Modern, but she still exists in Golden.
Okay.
So if you were to play just a pure Golden format where anything is available to you, she's available. Yeah. But she is banned in Global Escalation because she was a top team.
Gotcha.
And Global Escalation is they take the top teams from, I think, US, Nats, and Worlds and over the various years and ban all of the cards that were on those teams except if they have a Global.
Right.
And she doesn't have a Global, but she's won tournaments, so she would be banned in Global Escalation, but she exists in Golden Age.
Okay, yeah, so you could play her in Golden.
Yeah.
I kind of want to take her out in Golden. I hope another Golden event comes out. I kind of want to play with her again.
You know, all the power to you, Kim.
And then people will hate me. You're
well,
part of Team Kim.
Golden is my second least favorite format.
Yes, I know. Every time we play in our local, Jocelyn's always like, "It's Modern, right? Modern? We're playing Modern this week."
It's going to be Modern for me because
that's all you're going to pick from. Yeah.
Here's the thing: there's too many cards, and there's too many dice, and I love them, and I have them all, and they're in my cupboard, and I'm very happy that I have them. But trying to build a team out of that many cards, I find it very overwhelming. So I like to stick to something that's a little bit more manageable, and that's why I'm really excited about this rotation. Now I know they're going to continue to release sets, and we know we have spoilers of sets that are coming, and then Modern will start to get bigger again. But some of this older stuff that we've been seeing a lot of, it's going to go away. And some of the stuff that was quite strong last year, so if you want to think about Iceman, which is from X-Men Forever, possibly. Yes, X-Men Forever campaign box. A lot of the support for him that made him fantastic as far as direct damage goes, such as the Magic Missile Global ability, is now rotated out. And something that came in that might have helped that card, which is the global ability on Wand. It's the same global, but it now has a cost associated with it. So instead of just paying a bolt to deal a damage to a character die, when you do that, you also lose a life. So all of a sudden, it becomes a little more balanced, because Iceman, when he took damage in the attack step, he would deal 2 damage to your opponent. So if you pinged him with the Magic Missile Global, on his top side, he was a 6 defense. So you could ping him 5 times and do 10 damage to your opponent. Now, you can't do that unless you're willing to lose 5 life. So, not a horrible trade-off.
Yeah, I mean, depends if you want to take that life.
Life is a resource, Kim.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
As long as you have more life than your opponent, you're winning.
Is that how the game goes?
That's what I'm told.
Okay.
So
anyway, one card that surprised me that got banned effective immediately. I actually didn't see this coming, and probably people did. But there was a card that got banned effectively immediately, and that was Shriek Sonic Beam, right? Sonic Beam? Yeah.
Sonic Beam, that's the one. 3-cost bolt.
Yep. And she, if anybody does know, pretty much blanks a card.
That ignores the text.
Yep.
Including global abilities. And
yes.
it blanks the card, not the die. So the die doesn't have to be active, doesn't even have to be purchased. It just blanks the whole card when she's fielded. So that was a very strong card. And a lot of people have very strong feelings about that card. There's a lot of chatter about Shriek Sonic Beam in the interwebs. I have my own thoughts about Shriek, as well as another card that is rotating out on May 1st, which is Green Devil Mask Lesser Trap. And if you're interested in hearing what I think about that, I would encourage you to read the article that I posted on today's date, which is March 30th, on the DM North page, called Chew for the Road, where I talk a little bit about those two cards and my thoughts on them. And that's all I'll say. Because hopefully by the time you listen to this, you'll have read it.
Yeah.
Shriek
doesn't bother me. No, I mean, like, I hardly had it on my team. And I honestly, I think when I played people too, they hardly ever, they had it on their team, but maybe not purchased it as much. And then you learn kind of to build multiple win cons, or at least 2 win cons. So if they shriek, as the people say in that world, if you shriek their card, at least you should have a backup.
Yeah.
So that worried me at all.
So I think but what you said there, Kim, is one of the things that was said on Facebook when the rotation was announced, because Shriek was banned in Modern on March 20th. And then the rotation will take effect May 1st. So she only would have existed in Modern for another, 10 weeks?
Yeah.
Right? But they decided to ban her anyway. And that did surprise a lot of people. But the feedback that we got from WizKids on the Facebook page was they'd planned to do this anyway. And because of exactly what you said, Kim, it was like a must include. It was very stale. And everyone was sort of using it as a catch-all control card. So they decided to ban that card. I know one person who's very happy that Shriek has been banned. And it's our good old friend Chris Williams over there at the Ministry of Dice, who has repeatedly said that Shriek is the worst card in the game, and I'm pretty sure that he will not like my article. But
read it still, Chris.
Yeah, read it.
To hear from you.
Read it before you
judge
get at me for what I say about Shriek and Green Devil Mask. So Shriek is now banned in Modern, and current Modern and its 1,500 cards have a little bit. A few weeks left, about 8 weeks left in the current meta. Although there aren't going to be any events in this time frame because we are in the grips of coronavirus and everything has been canceled or postponed or rescheduled at this point. So, we've heard that WizKids has pulled out of the UK Games Expo, which is going to happen in June, which end of May, and that is being rescheduled, I think, till August. And they've also pulled out of Origins, which is where US Nationals is usually held, which is also in June. So I think that will probably be rescheduled at some other point. But right now there's so many travel restrictions and everyone's, staying home, sheltering in place, social distancing, all these new keywords that we hear. Buzzwords.
Social distancing, a new keyword on the WizKids page.
Okay, what would social distancing be, Kim? What would social distancing be?
Oh, that's a good one. Good question. Let's put that out to people.
Yeah.
Come up with your best social distancing keyword.
What is the definition of social distancing in Dice Masters? Excellent. Let's do that.
All right.
Let's think about that and see what we can come up with. But yeah, so all those buzzwords that we didn't have in our lexicon a few weeks ago now are everywhere. And I think that everyone's doing their best to try and stay healthy. I know I am. I hope you are.
I am.
And so there will not be any official competitive events in this time frame, but originally there might have been some events. So it made sense at the time. And they figured to stick with it because that was the plan.
But it makes Dice Masters great because now you can play online all the time. Right now. Keep yourself busy. Get on the online scene.
So, Kim, what cards are you going to miss from the current Modern?
I think the most I'm going to miss is Team Up, which was a basic action card. And Team Up, what it reads is each of your character dice gain +1 A and +1 D for each different affiliations amongst your active character dice. So if you had like -1 until end of turn. So if you had cards that had added up all active dice came up to 5 affiliations, you -1. So all your dice that's active gain +4/+4. I used to love to run a team up team. I think I had a pretty efficient team up team, pretty fast one. And I think I'll miss that card the most out of everything that's getting rotated out.
If I didn't already know that was your number one card, I would have guessed it. Because you're a big fan of that card. And we did, at DM North, we did put up a, top 5 cards we'll miss from Modern article. And each of us has a page about the cards that we're going to miss. What I was surprised, though, Kim, was that you ranked Absorbing Man, Old Ball and Chain as number 4 out of 5.
Why? Would you think I was going to name? Or are you surprised it was on there?
No, I was surprised. I wasn't surprised it was on there. I thought it would have been like second or third.
It was a very hard decision for me. Those 5 cards I had, ranking them was kind of tough. And just to quickly name the top 5, I won't go into details of them, but my 5th one was Tiger Claw, Seeking Revenge, which when attacks deals 2 damage to your opponent. Absorbing Man, which Jocelyn was talking about, was number 4, which pretty much copies a Wenfield effect. Used that card against my number 3 with my number 3, which was Orion. So he's Wenfield deals 2, and then when he attacks, he deals 2 to your opponent. Then my number 2, which I use always on my Orbital Strike team, was an OP card, Wolverine, which had regenerate beefy stats for a low cost. So that was my number 2. And then number 1 was Team Up. So it was tough for me. I rearranged it maybe 3 times.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that. So, but Team Up is the one you'll miss the most?
I think Team Up will miss the most. I really hope they reprint that card. Honestly, I really hope they reprint the card. I would love to make a Team Up new Modern team. So,
well, there's nothing saying you couldn't do that. It just wouldn't be Modern.
Yeah. Well, with the new rotation, yeah.
Even if everything else was Modern or new Modern on the team, you could still run it. You could see what it looked like.
Yeah, and I did play it on Saturday.
Just throw a 4-cost Becky Lynch in there, Kim. And,
spoiler alert, it's on my new Modern Orbital Strike team. I don't know if anybody heard that, so if they didn't, that's great.
I'm sure that we're going to talk about that at some point, Kim.
But Saturday, I did play in the Team of the Month. I did have Team Up on my team, so it was nice to pull that card back out again.
What do you mean pull it back out again? You haven't put it away yet.
Well, that's true. I'm ready to actually separate my basic actions right now into the new Modern and Golden, but I have not done it yet, so it's sitting there. How about you, Jocelyn? I will get there.
So the card I'm going to miss the most is Super Rare Angela, Hunter of Demons, because I loved Infiltrate as a mechanic. And Super Angela made that mechanic super strong because she meant that your opponent could not block your infiltrate dice. You could always infiltrate them. I mean, obviously she was vulnerable to a shriek. You shriek the card and then all of a sudden your infiltrate team falls apart. Other things came out. Black Widow Agent, which would prevent 1 damage from a character ability. So your infiltrate would fizzle at that point, but there were ways around that. And I feel like infiltrate was just starting to get some really cool stuff happening with it. There's the Kree soldier from Kree Invasion Team Pack that has swarm and infiltrate. He's a 2-cost fist. So you get to get pulled through your bag with the swarming, and you get all those infiltrate characters out there. And then a trick that our good old friend Matt from DM North here taught me was use Hope. Pluripotent exopraxia. I said
Good
that
job.
Wrong. It was close. To copy Cable, I think it's Psionic Team Leader, which means that when you attack with your Hope copying Cable, every other die that attacks that turn that's not a sidekick deals an additional damage. So you're doing like all this crazy damage, which was what was on my most recent Chris and Rob Game Room 2-team takedown team. I decided to take Infiltrate out for a spin there. I took Angela and the Kree Soldier and the Hope and the Cable and a couple of other things. And I really like that. So I'm going to miss Angela. I do think that she's probably overpowered. But she was a super rare, and she was the first super rare I pulled for Guardians, so I was really excited by that. But my second one was Huntress from Batman, because it's the common Huntress, and I liked her removal effect, because when she was fielded, you would do damage equal to her A to a target character die, and her A was a 2/3/4. So you could almost guarantee taking out a Shriek with that, because Shriek's defense was 2/3/3. So you could almost guarantee taking out a Shriek or a lot of other little piddly things that were making your life annoying. And I really liked that card for removal. So that one I'm going to miss. And then the Collector, again, the rare Taneleer Tivon, because I only got my hands on him last summer, and I finally started to play with him, and I had so much fun making weird shenanigan teams with him, and I really hope that we get that ability again, because there's nothing like fielding something to kill your opponent on their turn. The feeling that you get when that happens is very, very fun. So that's the cards I'm going to miss. My top 5 rounded out with Misdirection, a basic action card, and Improvised Weapon, another basic action card.
Which I think a lot of people use Misdirection with Angela.
I used to use Misdirection with Angela because she wouldn't roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I also used to use her with Boom Boom because she wouldn't roll. So any die I had that just would not roll, I put Misdirection on the team, because then I could, get my dice into the field when they didn't roll. So I was a little worried actually about taking Angela to the 2-team takedown, because I was like, well, if she doesn't roll, oh well. But she was rolling, so.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So overall, I think we're happy with rotation, both of us. I don't think we really any grumblings about it or anything. So
no, I'm not sad. I think it was time for a lot of those cards to get rotated out, and I think that we have new versions of things. A lot of things. There's certainly some control that's probably missing still from the current format, but we also know control is coming, and some of the stuff that's going to come out later this year, coronavirus permitting. So yeah, I'm excited to play with some new cards. I'm excited to see other people play with new cards. And I'm excited to see what we can pull out of the shadows now that we don't have this old stuff to depend on. So I'm looking forward to building and seeing what other people build. But we would like to know what you think. So let us know what cards you're going to miss, what cards you're not going to miss, and what you think about the rotation. We'd love to hear from you. So you can send us an email, or you can reply on our webpage, or you can find us on Facebook. So hopefully you can reach out and share your thoughts with us.
What's next? We have some feedback.
We do have some feedback.
We got some more feedback.
I like feedback. Do you like getting feedback?
I do. I do like getting feedback. So we got about, 3 new feedbacks, I think?
Yeah, I think we got 3. So we heard from our friend Bodhi. Bodhi reached out to us on Discord.
Yep.
And he sent a message that said he wanted to let us know that he was really enjoying the podcast, that we're doing great. And he mentioned my audio quality. He said it was a little bit better in the new episode, which I think was just a fluke because I hadn't changed anything. However, hopefully it's better this episode because I changed my headset, and in our test recordings it sounded better. So let us know if the audio is better. Please let me know. He also said he loves hearing our point of view, and he liked to hear the positive feedback that we were getting. And he told me that he was souring a little on the game but he thinks he was just a little bit burnt out. But with the new rotation, he's excited again, and listening to our podcast and how enthusiastic we are is making him want to play more again. So we're glad to hear that, Bodhi, and we're glad that we're helping.
Yeah. It's great feedback. Thank you.
Kim, do you want to talk about the feedback we got from Matt?
Yeah. So Matt was a little complaint about an article that he had wrote. So my keyword on last episode when we talked about keywords was spark. And how I thought it was all cool that if you roll actions, you can deal 1 damage every time you roll action die, but it came out to be only you can only use the effect on 1 action die. And that's what I talked about last episode, and Matt was disappointed that I didn't shout out on his article that he wrote about spark. And I do apologize, Matt. I overlooked it. I did not see it. I had read Gord's article when he had it on Spark, which was his rule school article, and I did not see and I missed your article, so I am sorry for that.
It was a formal complaint. He put on a suit and everything.
Yeah, he's just in James Bond.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything because I ran away because I afraid he was going to do something.
What was he going to do?
I don't know. James Bond, the guy is like crazy. Going all James Bond stealth on me.
Yeah.
No, but I'm sorry, Matt, about that.
You have to do better research, Kim.
Yeah. I will go read your article now, and I'll talk about it next episode for you.
I'm gonna hold you to that. Okay, Matt, I'm holding Kim to that.
And this is recorded, so you have my apology on recording.
And then we got an email to our triple-D-podcast@dm-north.com email address. This email comes from Rob of Dice Masters Durham region. Look us up on Facebook, he tells us. He says, Kim and Jocelyn, I enjoyed the recent discussion on the last episode about keywords and was surprised that neither of you was very familiar with the keyword gate. And I wanted to share my experience with a team build that I used, Gate, that I ran one Saturday afternoon at my friendly local game store here in Whitby, Ontario, Canada. It was a golden event, and I decided to build an evil team around the Soulmonger from Tomb of Annihilation and included many evil characters from the various Dungeons & Dragons sets. Among these cards were Baelor, Aranes, and Glabrazo that all include the Gate ability, which I used to great advantage and went on to win the day. At this time, I cannot remember the names of the 2 lovely lady opponents that I faced off against that day, but I was sure that the Gate ability would haunt their dreams for a considerable time. But then again, they may have just forgotten about it and moved on with their lives. Anyway, it's a fun keyword ability, and I encourage everyone to take a chance and try a similar build. I'm enjoying the show. Keep up the good work. So we both have a little bit of pie on our face here, Kim.
I think I was the forgetful one.
Well, I forgot to, so it's not just you. So Rob is the guy that we play with, one of the guys that we play with, and he built the Gate team, and both of us played against it, and we'd forgotten. So when Kim was looking at the keywords page last episode, said, "What's Gate?" And I'm like, "Oh, Kim, Gate is this." And I'm reading the keywords page, and she's like, "Where does that come from?" I'm like, "Oh, it comes from here." I didn't remember either Rob's team. I remember that team. I remember
it was evil. Yes, I remember that.
His evil team, his fiend team, but I had forgotten about the Gate keyword. Yeah, so
maybe he did such a good job, it wiped our memory.
Yeah. So all in good fun. I know Rob is just jesting with us here, and we're glad that he sent us an email, and I will not forget about Gate anymore. However, as Golden is my second least favorite format, I probably won't play with Gate anytime soon.
Yeah. I don't think I own any cards with Gate. I don't own that much old D&D stuff anyway, so.
Yeah. But try out keywords that you have never played before, because you never know what they're going to do. So really good feedback, and thanks to Rob and to Bodhi and to Matt for reaching out, and we hope that you will reach out as well.
Yeah, and last but not least, Jocelyn's tournament update.
I'm done.
And that's our podcast for today, folks.
No. So I think when we recorded our last episode, I had just finished a round. I had just played, was it Peter? Peter Van der Velde?
I can't remember. I can't recall it.
So I was waiting for the winner of Joe and James. So James took that match, and Joe, so therefore I played James. So James is also known on Discord as Jacques Blonde, and he is Dice Masters with James and Zach on YouTube. And really nice guy, lives over in Eastern Europe, but is British, and he and I got a game in. He recorded it and put it up on his YouTube channel in 3 chunks, one of each of the games, which shows you that at least I gave him a fight. So I won the first game. The second game, he wiped me right out. It was super fast. It was only like 9 or 10 minutes. It was a very, very fast game. The third game, though, it went quite long. And I would say that James has a magic Batman die that no matter how many times I made him re-roll it with the Awakened Storm, it just kept coming back. Came back. And eventually he just overwhelmed me. And I did make one fatal mistake in that game. And that was, I wasn't paying attention, and I rolled down my storm on my turn to a level 2. So I had a 1 defense. And then he fielded a sidekick with his Atlantis ability, and he had Jubilee active, so that did 1 damage to my storm, which KO'd her. As soon as I rolled her down, I realized I'd done it wrong, and James, being the gentleman that he is, gave me the opportunity to reverse it or to continue, because I did have another mask in my field, in my reserve pool. But I didn't feel that was right. We were playing a tournament, so I said, no. I said, that's fine. I know exactly what you're going to do now. And sure enough, he did it. He KO'd my storm. And then she would not roll back. So I lost my control there. The last game did go quite long. I want to say it was probably close to half an hour. But because I was trying to control his side, I wasn't able to get my team running the way it normally would. And I also was having trouble rolling the energy types I needed. So in the end, I did lose to James. Congratulations, James, on a great match. And I believe James has now moved on to play Ben Side Scott. And I think they're playing later this week to see how they continue on. So I really enjoyed playing in the tournament. It was a lot of fun. I got to play my Angela team. I got to play my Orc Knob team. And very excited that I was in the tournament at all. And wishing best of luck to all of those that are still playing.
Yep. So it's Ben, James, Yort, and Nick. So.
Is that it?
Yeah. 4 left.
Oh, that's right. Because one of them's already at the end. Is it Troy?
Yeah, it's Troy. Yeah. So he's waiting for the loser of one of the brackets.
The winner.
Yeah, the winner, sorry, of the loser side, yes.
Yeah. So I think, so James has to play Ben, and whichever one of them wins will play Nick, and then the winner of that will play Troy.
Yep.
Yeah. So now that I know how double elimination tournament works, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it was a lot of fun to play in that tournament, and I lasted a lot longer than I had expected. And if I had won against James, I would have had to play Comics Mike again, who I played in the first round, and we had a really epic game ourselves in that first round, and he ended up winning 2-1 in that first round, knocking me down to the losers bracket. So I knew what his teams did, and they're pretty nasty when they go off. So, James had to face that, but James, had a good game there, and Comics Mike not so much. So, but yeah, so anyway, great experience. I got to play James for the first time, which I had never played James before, so that was great. Yeah, it was a great time. So it was nice, and playing online, like Kim mentioned earlier, it's a great way to get involved, especially right now in these days of coronavirus. So Tuesday night, there's Weekly Dice Arena on Twitch with Final Ross Battle. Thursday night, a little earlier in the day, if you're on the Eastern Time Zone or Toronto, North American area, which is Dice Fight, which is James runs that on Thursdays. Team of the Month is once a month from our own DM-North website with a different theme every month. And then there is the Chris and Rob Game Room monthly one-shot tournament. They ran their first one, I think, last weekend. Mm-hmm. And their intention is to run one every third Saturday of the month.
Yep, and Team of the Month is every fourth Saturday of the month.
Usually.
And yeah, I think that's what's going on right now. And there's probably more, and a lot of people looking for games. So
yeah, so if you're not on the Dice Masters online Discord, I would encourage you, if you're looking for an online game, to join. Just make a Discord account and join Dice Masters Online. I believe there's a link. If you go to dm-north.com under community, there's a link to join the Discord, and there's always people there looking for a game, especially right now at any time of the day. People are testing new modern teams. People are playing old modern teams. People are throwing dice together and just, throwing some dice around. So everyone's always looking for a game, and it's not hard to get online. I think if you wanted to listen to one of our previous episodes, we talk about that in, I think it was episode 2 of our tournament, our podcast. That talks about playing online, and there's always someone available to also walk you through your setup and make sure that you've got it all ready to go. So it sounds intimidating, but it's the same as playing at the game store, except the person's not in front of you on the computer. So
indeed, I think that's it.
I think that's it. I think that's all we've got for today. So we want to thank you for listening and for joining us today, hanging out with us. So until next time on A Double Double and Dice.
Bye.
Bye.